This comes from our man Stephen Ruiz, Reg's favorite writer at The Ringer.
He's very good.
The Ringer's 2022 quarterback rankings as we get ready for the NFL playoffs. Strengths and weaknesses.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs.
Shout out to Jim Mora. All 14 quarterbacks ranked as we get ready to see playoff football. Reg, first crack at it. Who do you believe Stephen Ruiz has as his best quarterback in the NFL playoffs? Should be fairly easy.
All right, so first of all, for those of you that are not watching on the fan cam, whether it be Twitch or YouTube or what have you, I would like to let you know that I did like the very old man without his glasses look at my computer.
Really?
And then,
really?
Because you want to know why? Because I was like, wait, who all in the playoffs again?
Really?
However,
wow.
I can get the first guess off without having to do that because he is indeed the most underrated player in the NFL. His name is Patrick Mahomes.
That would be the NFL MVP frontrunner in one Patrick Mahomes
Jr. The second, I think.
The second, I believe, is what he goes by. The second. I loved some of the description that Stephen Ruiz labels with Patrick Mahomes. One of his first things.
He's the GOAT.
I mean, there's also that he's baby goat. We'll call him baby goat. But his first characteristic for him is he's a trick shot artist.
He really is.
He really is, though. That's the thing. Mahomes' biggest strength, arm talent. Yep. Goes without saying. His biggest weakness, though, I found to be interesting from him. Pre-snap. Ruiz writes, I'm grasping at straws here. Mahomes is far ahead of where most 26-year-olds are in the pre-snap phase of the game. He always has a good idea of where the issues in protection could arise, and he routinely sniffs out exploitable windows in the defense before the ball is snapped. But there are times when the Chief star is a little too confident in his ability to solve potential problems by making a play rather than making adjustment.
Who would it be?
If I was Patrick Mahomes, I would just try pretty much anything on a given day.
If he manages to misread the pre-snap, you know what he gonna go out here do? Extend a play, drop bombs on these dudes. Bombs over Baghdad, right? Like straight outcast. We going wild on him. Or you know what? Maybe the defense did an incredible job and there's coverage everywhere. I'll just pick up the 7 yards by myself on my phone. How about that?
Yeah.
This guy, he's so good.
He's a damn wizard.
It's unfair.
How about this, though? Who do you believe Ruiz has as his second best quarterback in the playoffs? The answer might surprise you a little bit.
Is this Joe Burrow?
No.
Okay. All right. Let me see. I know that he's big on Geno, but I don't think he's that wild. Justin Herbert?
Yeah, Justin Herbert.
Yeah, see, the Justin Herbert thing is like, he's been kind of tamped down by situation and circumstance. But if you talk about like the raw abilities, and Stephen Ruiz is someone who is going to like incline towards some of the deeper analytical perspectives of it. Justin Herbert's got like real ability to put it all together of it, right? Whether it's him individually or with his team, the Los Angeles Chargers as a whole. That's the thing that is yet to be there. But Justin Herbert, I think there's pretty much everybody in NFL circles like, yeah, no, we're convinced. That's what it is.
Well, I heard Medford, a certain guy, tell me that Justin Herbert's a social media quarterback, but I think he's a little bit more than that. I don't know if you've heard that.
Y'all just gonna keep giving that man. Don't let that man. You giving him space.
Well, in
your head.
No,
rent free. In this economy, you should be charging him way more.
Well, got to call and keep it accountable, I guess. Biggest strength for Justin Herbert, arm talent, because he's got it for days and days and days. Biggest weakness, Ruiz says, is his creativity. It's only a small gripe that he has. His strict adherence to offensive structure is what bothers Ruiz at times, which is very interesting because some of the throws that you see Justin Herbert make are extremely creative.
Sure, but when he talks about creativity, I think he means like off schedule, making things happen. So like the idea that he's making good throws and big throws is cool, but like the idea of outside of the structure of the offense, can you make something shake? And maybe it's unfair to say it in this way, but when you compare him to the dude we were just talking about, like he feels downright non-existent. And I understand how that could end up looking like that.
Number 3 is Josh Allen for Stephen Ruiz. His biggest strength, I love it, arm talent, because he also has that for days. Number 4, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is making a sneaky case for NFL's MVP. He's not going to win it, obviously. No. But his second half of the year has been phenomenal for the Cincinnati Bengals. And, you know, we always talk about those proverbial teams that you don't want to see in the playoffs. San Francisco, I believe, is that team in the NFC. The team that you're not trying to see in the playoffs, Cincinnati, because they are playing at an extremely high level right now. And Joe Burrow is a big reason why this team is in prime position to possibly get back to the Super Bowl after their run that they made last year to play the Rams in the Super Bowl.
And how comfortable Joe Burrow is with knowing who he has available to him.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Burrow is like, look, man, this T. Higgins, this Jamar Chase, like Tyler Boyd. Look, we just going to get this ball out to these dudes and let them go to work. And that I respect that, right?
Yeah.
Like, get the ball to those guys.
Joe Mixon.
Yeah. I guess that's fair. Got to bring up Joe Mixon, Samaj AP Ryan, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Oklahoma boys. Yeah. Just that is a fascinating part about this, that he's able to get the ball where it needs to be, especially to those guys, and let them go to work.
Number 5, I'm sad about because we're not going to see him in the playoffs because I don't think Baltimore gets out of the first round, and that's Lamar Jackson. And the way that they've had to piece together their quarterback situation has really kind of been disheartening because I thought this was a team that if Lamar was going to be healthy could make a deep run in the playoffs defensively. Well, defensively, they've been much better in the second half.
Since they got Roquan.
Smith. But the question for Lamar Jackson,
bit of health. Sorry, go ahead.
Has always been the skill players. You know, Mark Andrews, really good tight end, but who does he have on the outside as a legitimate threat to be able to make teams think about the wide receivers on their team? And they simply don't have it. They have been built on the run game with Lamar Jackson and J.K. Dobbins. So, unfortunately, though, John Harbaugh, we're not going to see Lamar Jackson in these playoffs.
I highly doubt it. Here's the thing, right? I know that some people need different avenues and different frameworks to be able to appreciate things, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody sees things the same. For all the people that need the framework of, like, look at how valuable this person is when they are gone. Waves hands wildly, right? Like look around. They had Anthony Brown in there, and it did not look. I mean, Anthony Brown was a clear downgrade from Tyler Huntley, who also this season became very apparent is a clear downgrade from Lamar Jackson, right?
Correct.
Like all them folks that want to talk crazy about Lamar Jackson. At least you should be able to recognize, look at the distinction and the difference in what that team was, regardless of how good you thought that team was with Lamar Jackson, and look at what it became when them other cats got in here.
So it looks like the Baltimore Ravens are going to be one and done because they take on Cincinnati Bengals in the wild card round. Yep. See you later, Baltimore, as no Lamar Jackson. Then we get to the 6th best quarterback.
Is it Eugene time?
No.
No?
Nope, not yet. And you won't see him for a little while. A little disrespectful.
Wow.
Geno Smith.
I guess he's trying to be like responsible. I guess
he is. Because
all right. So we have gone through, I think, the AFC. Oh, nope. Trevor Lawrence.
He comes in at number 7.
Oh, he's next.
Behind.
Are we still respecting Tom Brady here?
No.
Jalen?
Are
we getting Dak Prescott here?
Dak Prescott
Okay.
at number 6.
All right. Look at the respect. I like it.
Ruiz's biggest strength for Dak Prescott? Pre-snap. It's odd how little credit Dak receives for the work he does before the snap. It's not like this is a recent development. He's been vigilant in that phase of the game since his rookie season. He's just a lot better at it now, which tends to happen as a quarterback gains experience. Dak's success is often attributed to his offensive line, but he can be seen pointing them in the right direction on certain plays and making sure any potential pass rushers are accounted for.
And this year, I don't know if you can point to his offensive success as being the offensive line.
Not so much. Next time you watch Dak play, pay attention to what he's doing at the line of scrimmage. What would you say that Dak's biggest weakness is based on what Ruiz has told us so far about Dak?
Turnovers.
Nope.
Okay. Just tell me.
Arm talent.
Okay.
The aforementioned shoulder injury obviously affected his arm strength, and a midseason calf strain didn't help matters. Let's check back on this after a few games. No, that's a little bit, I don't know. That's a little older description. But the biggest weakness he has is arm talent, because he was referencing some things from last year.
Got you.
That particular.
Got you.
That particular blurb.
Oh, this is the running quarterback rankings that he has. Got you. I'm tapped back in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Dak Prescott, it's tough because you are the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, the most visible, probably sports franchise in the world, if not, or at least the most visible NFL football franchise and probably American sports franchise. Yeah, dog. Like at the quarterback position, if it goes bad, it is all your fault. And there's been some questionable, some shaky in that you can absolutely speak to. I'm not going to try and say that there's not. Those things just get blow upshuated, if you will.
See, and here's the reason why we went through this exercise for me in my mind. Because if this is to be believed that this quarterback is a top 6 quarterback in the NFL playoffs, guess what he should be good enough to do? Win you football games when it matters most.
Well, okay, so I'm actually glad that you brought this up because something that we talked about with some of these other quarterbacks you have above them, or above him rather, their ability to, or I guess in some instances, inability to make things happen off schedule, kind of the type of go get me something, right? Something that we talk about in basketball is the dude who could just go get a bucket.
Yep.
How do you feel about Dak Prescott in that case? Because especially when he's been like less likely to go and run, I think that has been a thing that has been limited for him, which is like that off schedule, go get me something.
But when he chooses to, he's rather effective with his legs. And I think that's the part of his game that has to be seen more in these playoffs, because if you're going to find yourself extending drives and keeping Tom Brady and this offense off the field, you have got to find ways to help your offense and more so help your defense be able to not only get rest but extend plays so that you are the one putting pressure on Tampa Bay in their defense. And Dak does have the ability to do it. Will he choose to do it when those situations arise? I think will tell us a lot about how this offense could operate on Monday night, given the fact that the running game between Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott right now is not very effective. Dak needs to help in some of this run game to help put pressure on Tampa's defense.
Yeah, help how? Well, because this is the thing, right? Again, and I don't want to make this all well, it's the line's fault. The line hasn't been great at pass blocking, and I've actually tried to point to that somewhat subtly over the last 4 weeks or so. Run blocking, they're typically pretty good. Obviously, again, has not been great over the last 4 weeks, but the pass blocking absolutely has been, somewhat problematic. And with that being the case, right, like this is really tough. And then we also have a Dak Prescott who seemingly is trying to make more things happen and forcing some things into like smaller windows, whereas maybe in the past he would have been a little bit more averse to such things, right? Like I think all of those things, or when we lay out all of those things, I don't know where the place is that you go, well, make more things happen. And that's the tough thing about it, is because I think you're right. He does need to make more things happen. I just don't know where the remaining squeeze is there to be squeezed from. You know what I mean?